and I talked to several other
ready to go when you guys ready? Are we on? Are we zooming?
Evan, can you hear us?
I can. How is everybody?
Good.
Good. Sorry, I have to go remote today. I'm on double dad duty with the newborn and son. Well, my wife's doing something else.
I hear you.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. And we'll do a roll call.
Mike Romack,
Donnie Meyer,
Jerry Burmeister.
all present. We're gonna do election of officers. Zach moved out of the area, so we need to put somebody in his place, and it's been recommended of Mr. Burmeister fill in his position. So
I nominate Jerry Burmeister for the position vacated by Zach. Was that the president's position?
no, I'm the
Oh, you're the
president.
president. Okay. Vacated by Zach, which is the vice president.
I'll second that. So we have the majority. And welcome aboard.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
So then we'll go to the approval of the previous minutes of the meeting. I need a motion for that.
I move that we accept the minutes for the previous meeting on February the 9th, 2022.
I can second it.
I have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Old business, we had none. New business. Rescue wants to talk about water connection fees.
Okay. It says drinking water. Well, I can make a comment on that. Do I have the right one? I do not.
I was gonna say,
Where is the?
right here.
Just, but I will make a comment for those. So remember I had before you last time. Mike, were you here too in February?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so Donnie's the only one. So real quick, I know this is not on the agenda, but just for FYI. So we had Banning give us a proposal to do a drinking water study, and it's not cheap. Close to $300,000. And that was to look at as if we started supplying the new unbuilt areas of the town within the town boundaries as they exist now. And most of the town, is empty cornfields, right? And then also we've got people knocking on our door saying, I need water, even though I don't live in town. What would it look like if we expanded to the township? So I got cold feet on the expense. And so I haven't signed that contract yet. It's going to happen sometime, but I think we just need to wait a little bit for a lot of different small reasons.
Is that
So
the area that like the citizens or whoever's got the one out west of?
no, so the study would look at the existing town boundaries, right? What exists now, our wells, our water treatment plants, our towers. And we're only a town of 4,500 going, we're roughly 6,000 with what's under construction. But the town itself has enough room for 40,000. So we're gonna have to vastly expand what we do. Plus there's pressure from people because you remember the township area has 3 times the population of the town, and it's starting to fill up too. They're at 15,000. So all they have is wells. So we're getting people, I'm getting stopped on the street. Hey, never wanted to be in town, but I just found out I spent $10,000 to go another 200 feet deeper to get some water. And by the way, I've got 3 times the neighbors I did when I bought this house. So, so I've held off on signing that, so mostly because I want to see, we're spending a lot of money on updating equipment, our vehicles. And I just wanted to, I didn't want to, that 300,000 is a lot of money, and I just didn't want to, just felt as the water department president, the thing to do would just be hold off now on that expense. It's a lot of money.
It is.
Um,
And when you do expand to that, your water operators are gonna have to get different licenses.
right, once we hit 10,000,
Yes.
yep. Yeah. Okay, so what we want to talk about today is what I handed out, and that is the water tap fee, which currently for a 5/8 is 600, for a 1 inch is 1,000, for 2 inches 1,500. And Ryan, who's our supervisor, and by the way, Justin's back. He came back to work for us. He was gone for just barely under a year. And Justin used to be the supervisor. Those 2 guys have traded positions now twice. So both of those guys have been saying that our tap fees are way too little for what their actual costs are. So we got some fees and for the materials, and then we applied the estimated hours on average, and we used our billing rate for those guys. So that's labor and materials. So in the 5/8, it came to 3,432. So I say 3,500. And then same with 1 inch. The only thing that changes is the setter and the meter. Labor's the same. That goes to 3,900 or 3834. I say 3,900. And then for the 2 inch, it's at 9,124. So we say 9,250. So I bring this before you for thoughts, comments, feedbacks. And then what we'll do is, after at 6:30, the Utility Rate Advisory Board meets. And so we'll present the same thing plus your input and your thoughts on what the fee ought to be. And then they'll vote thumbs up, thumbs down, or a different recommendation. And then that goes before the town council. And then they'd have final say if they want to bring up the issue.
How does this compare, Scott, to surrounding towns?
Mr. President?
I made a couple phone calls, and the price of Fortville and areas around, because they just did the same thing. And there for the 5/8 was $1,800, $3,000 for a 2 inch, and then they triple it for a 2 inch. So it was 9,000, Scott, not 12.
So it's 9,000, not 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was talking with Scott before, because I'd been involved in raising this back when I was there and got them to the current that they are, because it used to be 300, 500, and 1,000. So we were able to get all that cost, and all it was materials. And that's how it was always presented to me. And so I presented that back to Scott, as how it was presented to me. And my proposal to him was $2,000 for a 5/8. A 1 inch would be $3,000. And then, which is the same rate basically as what the town of Fortville is. And then I proposed the triple of what they did for the 1 inch, for the 2 inch, and that would be $9,000. So it'd be $2,000 for a 5/8 $3,000 for a 1-inch and $9,000 for the 2-inch, and that covers all the material cost. That's just my thoughts.
You mentioned, Donnie, that you was involved with the last race. How long ago was the last race? Was that recent or has that been a long time?
1998.
1998.
Wow.
No kidding.
So it's time.
It's way past time,
Yeah, it's-
and today's price of brass and everything is basically using brass setters. You've got radio meters now instead of having to touch read. So the meter price is going up, your brass is going up, all your fittings is going up.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking at, setters and all that, that's exactly what they use, and that fits the ballpark.
When would it be effective if it ends up being effective?
That would be up to town council. Can I counter? the thoughts?
Absolutely.
So Donnie's right, that the guys are already on the clock being paid for. But I would counter is that, but they're also being pulled away from something else. And so this is gonna be the scenario where this would apply is not where a house has been torn down and there's an existing meter. If it's a meter that's already existing, even if it needs to be upgraded, this fee would not apply. What it would be is like a brand new home on a lot that's been empty forever. It has never had a meter. Right? So.
Be like your vacant lot next to your house.
Then it wouldn't be for Carrot Glen or the Huntsinger Farms, because the developers, we have them put in the meters and it's on the developer's cost. All right. So it's that, 1 out of 90 out of 100 of what we're going to see in the future, because most homes going in from now on are going to be subdivisions. These are going to be the empty lot. It's going to be the guy that's bought off of 2 acres off a farmer, who's putting up a house, single family house, or like the Rings, putting up that building that's got 2, an upstairs and a downstairs apartment. They're a tile in Maine. You know what I'm talking about? That looks big. It would apply to them. Although in that case, that would actually be just 1 additional meter. They've already got 1 there, so this would be just for 1 unit. It wouldn't be for 2. Because there was already a house there.
But if they build one on the other side of that,
Right.
then that's a 2.
That would be 2 units for every
Yes.
meter. Right. So I would argue, Donnie, that if we're not charging them for the time while they're there, then they could be doing work on the system, the existing system. So it's an opportunity cost. And those billing rates for the operators and the equipment, that's by ordinance. Those are already established. Those are our billing rates.
You're the town manager. Just my thoughts.
They're good thoughts. But town manager, well,
I was just trying to coordinate with areas around.
What's your proposal then?
well, I say we go for what our expenses, what
Oh,
it costs
okay.
us.
So you're talking 3,500,
Right. So it would be
39.
35, 39, 9,250.
So I'll take my house for instance. I have a 5/8 meter. Now I want to upgrade because I'm gonna put in some irrigation and I want a 1-inch.
I think that would be cost of materials. I don't think we'd do a flat rate on that. that be what you're,
Yes.
Yeah.
And then anything over a 2-inch meter would be
time and materials? And then we always charge 15% on top of the materials. Because we got to cover the insurance, the handling, all that stuff. It's got to go through accounting.
Right.
So that's why we add the 15%. Which is probably not enough.
Well, how does this work, Scott? If we approve this and send it on to the board?
Yeah,
Do they have
so
the
it's
right
for,
to
this is for your,
refuse, or-
yeah, you can take no action. I can do no action, formal action. You don't have to vote on it. You can vote on it if you want, or I can just take your comments in an hour from it, well, at 6:30, or you guys could show up, say, we discussed this. But I just thought the right thing to do is always run this through Waterworks before we take it to your utility rate advisory board. I don't think that. And you would, I don't think you would like it as a board if I avoided you, right?
Well, does that board have the right to refuse? I mean, or come
Utility
back-
rate
come back
advisory
with
board,
another-
it's as far as I understand, they're an advisory board. So they're making a recommendation. And the way Indiana law is set up for utilities, we opted in to not be under the IURC, Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, for electric. And I think that for water, it's a lot looser. But we don't have to go before the IURC anyway.
One other rate. What is your 1,000-gallon rate per 1,000 gallons? You know,
That's,
that's something that you might want to look at also.
I don't have that with me. I could get it for the. Oh, yeah, we do. Way to go. Okay, for
1,000-gallon residential.
5/8 and 3/4, 3,000 gallons, the flat minimum rate's $22.95. So anything at or below 3,000, you're gonna get charged $22.95. If it's a 1-inch, it jumps to 7,000 gallons. And the flat minimum rate is $47.27. And then it goes all the way up to a 6-inch. 2-inch is 44,000 gallons with a minimum of 184,000.
Fort Bill's 3,000 gallons was 27.64. However, they soften water. The water is softened, so that's a big. I'm just curious. I didn't know when the last time that was looked at, but it sounds like it's pretty close.
Yeah, and these are new rates because the way we do water and electricity, we have what's it called? Our electric rate floats what we add. So whatever we get charged out of input when we buy, we add our fee to it. So if it goes down, the total goes down. If it goes up, but what we add to it is always the same. And these new rates for water, the water doesn't have that, but these new rates are based on eliminating of the utility rate tax. So that's gone, and that was a whopping 0.4%. I forget what the amount was. Not very significant.
Like I said, that sounds pretty current to what Fort Bill says. Like I said, there's 27.64 on 3,000 gallons.
You know, I'm not building a house or on a lot here. I don't know how I would advise or make I would go on either Donnie or yours recommendation. And since it's been 20 some years since it's been adjusted, you're gonna, if you look at what inflation's done, 3,500 is not
Yeah, let me.
is not out of line.
So let's just assume 3%, no, 2.5%, 2% for inflation a year. So 1.02. And it's been since, so it'd be 24 years to 2% compounded over 24 years. So 1.6. So if you took 600 times 1.6, it'd be 960.
That doesn't sound right.
It does sound low, doesn't it?
Yeah. But started out low at $600.
Yeah, so it's basically 2,000.
And the other thing is you're gonna have continued, your copper and everything else is gonna continue to go
Right.
up in the next.
Yeah, that's another factor too, is that, okay, we're setting this rate based on what the fees are, what our
Right.
costs are right now, but they're gonna go up, especially if we wait another, we won't.
I was
Hopefully
gonna
not.
say, I think this needs to be revisited every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
I'm all in favor of increasing, and what you guys decide is what you decide. I give you my input of how I came up with mine.
well, I can do that. I could say if the rest of the board's okay with that, and then I can bring your comments forward. So you can either take an action and vote on it. Somebody makes a motion. Like I move that we approve we're okay with the increase in fees. The justification is, we agree with the justification. Or you could say, we recommend not 3,500, but we recommend 2,000. You can do that. Whatever you guys want to do, that's what you can do. You can either just pass forward your comments, or you can take a formal action. You can take your formal action could be, we approve the recommended rates, or we approve this adjusted rate, or we think it even ought to be higher, or we think it should even be significant lower, or you could vote it down.
What do you think, Donnie, about his comments versus on rates versus yours? I mean, he's going on it based on,
Right, he's
on what actual costs, you're going based on what surrounding communities were.
right, and I know that everybody uses the same amount of personnel and the same equipment, so I just eliminated the personnel and equipment is all I did,
Yeah.
is how I came about. And I was basically basing on what everybody else, and when I took out that, it's exactly what they're
What
using.
they're using, yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, it's up to you guys. And we can make a motion that definitely the fees need to be increased, and let the utility rate look at both of these and see which way they want to go. Or we can do Scott's, or I don't care. I'm very flexible. It needs to come up. There's
Yeah,
no question.
yeah.
The minimum it needs to come up is the surrounding areas.
Yeah.
That would be do you want me, that would be a comment I could make. If you don't want to take a formal action, I could say the comments were, it definitely needs to come up, and at a minimum, it needs to come up to the surrounding area.
I'll make a motion of that,
Okay,
which is the 2,000, 3,000 and 9,000.
okay,
I'll second it.
okay,
As that is the minimum
Right.
it should be at.
right. I think that's a good recommendation.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion? Say
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
No, I think you brought up a good idea, Donnie, that probably every 3 to 5 years, maybe this needs to be revisited. The cost of materials skyrocketing.
And it may come down. I mean,
Yeah,
you don't know, but
Right, like wood did.
I just, yeah, and I was part of being that and getting to where we're at today,
Yeah.
back in 98.
Yeah.
It's been a while. So do we have any other business that we need to
I move that we adjourn.
Second,
Okay, we'll adjourn.
So minimum is 2,000.
2,000, 3,000, and 9,000.
Okay.
And that 9,000 came off of they tripled their 1 inch.